Hello everyone. I am Neha Raut from Srimati Gishotai Bhuir College of Pharmacy, Kamti, Nagpur. Today's session is based on introduction of recombinant DNA technology. Now, what is recombinant DNA technology? It is based on the concept of gene recombination. Now, what is gene recombination? It is the exchange of genetic material between different organisms which leads to production of offsprings with combination of traits that differ from those of the parents. Now, this technology encompasses a number of experimental protocols leading to transfer of genetic information, that is DNA, from one organism to another organism. It also involves the manipulation of genetic material, that is DNA, to achieve the desired goal in a predetermined way. Now, what are the basic principles of recombinant DNA technology? How it works? It involves generation of DNA fragment and selection of desired piece of DNA, which we have to transfer from one organism to another organism. Further, insertion of selected DNA into a cloning vector. Now, vector is nothing but a DNA molecule to create recombinant DNA or chimeric DNA. Introduction of the recombinant vectors into the host cell. Now, what recombinant vector stands for? In a molecular cloning, a vector is a DNA molecule used as a vehicle to artificially carry foreign genetic material into another cell where it replicates or expressed. So the transfer of foreign DNA is known as, or it is termed as, recombinant vector into a host cell. Once it's transferred, then the multiplication and selection of clones containing the recombinant molecule. Expression of gene to produce the desired product. So these are the basic principle of recombinant DNA technology. So it will be easy for understanding with the help of this example. So here you can see a plasmid. It is from one organism and you can see a sequence or a fragment of DNA, that is target DNA. It is nothing but an insulin gene. So this plasmid where which digests that particular fragment from the one host and with the help of restriction enzyme and transfer to the host or another organism. So that joins this fragment with the help of DNA ligase. Again, one more example I would like to show. So you can see this, there are two DNA fragments, DNA strands are here, DNA A and DNA B. So now here the line indicates the particular area we're going to cut. So in that case, here the removal of this fragment, and in case of DNA AB, we are removing the another fragment. So now you can see, so this is the actual role of type 2 restriction endonuclease, that is EcoRI, and further the joining of this two, that base pairing of fragment which are joined by DNA ligase. So the joining of this two fragment gives a recombinant DNA. It is very easy to understand with the help of the transfer of insulin gene. Now initially you can see this is the human chromosome where the insulin gene is there. So with the help of restriction enzymes, we can cut this particular insulin gene and transfer to this bacterial plasmid. So here restriction enzymes cleaves insulin gene from a chromosome and create corresponding gap in a bacterial plasmid. Further, cleaved insulin gene is placed with a cleaved plasmid, cleaved bacterial plasmid with the sticky ends matching those of insulin gene. So this is the small portion of plasmid shown. Further, this insulin gene get joined with the plasmid with the help of DNA ligase. The transformed plasmid is inserted into the bacterial cell. Further, that bacteria goes to the mitosis and goes to the cell division and produces similar two daughter cell which will carry the same genetic material. Mitosis creates many bacterial clones containing the insulin gene. Further, you can see here so many insulin genes are there. The insulin genes inserted into the plasmids export insulin which can be collected for human use. So this examples gives us an idea how we are producing insulin from the human chromosome and utilizing the another organism, that is bacteria, for production of our insulin. Now for this genetic engineering, for this recombinant DNA technology, the most important one is the molecular tools. And these molecular tools are nothing but the enzymes involved in the process. Now in case of this recombinant DNA technology, the major enzymes involved, these are DNA cutting enzyme and DNA joining enzyme. And again, these are the one which are additional and played a role in the process. So in case of DNA cutting enzyme, the example is restriction endonucleases. This restriction endonucleases cut the DNA fragment at a particular site, which is helpful for insertion in the next step. Now after cutting, the joining is carried out with the help of DNA joining enzyme, that is DNA ligase. Further, enzyme prevents that few enzymes are there which prevents unwanted ligation of DNA during cloning. So the example is alkaline phosphatase. It prevents the further cloning, or it actually removes the phosphate group, so it prevents the unwanted ligation of DNA. Then the DNA modifying enzymes. Nucleases and polymerases, these are the DNA modifying enzymes. So as we know that the one that DNA cutting enzyme, that is restriction endonucleases, DNA joining enzyme is the DNA ligases. But with this, some additional enzymes are there which also play a role of cutting or joining. So nucleases and polymerases are there. The last category is the enzymes that modifying the ends of DNA. These are majorly involved in the handling of the terminal of DNA. So these are the alkaline phosphatase, polynucleotide kinase, and terminal transferase. Now starts with the first DNA cutting enzyme, which is important in recombinant DNA technology, that is restriction endonucleases. These are the bacterial enzymes that can cut or split DNA at a specific sites. It is first discovered in Escherichia coli, restricting the replication of bacteriophage by cutting the viral DNA. Now, what is bacteriophage? These are also known as the bacterial viruses. So here the host E. coli DNA is protected from cleavage by addition of methyl groups. Thus, the enzyme that restrict the viral replication are known as restriction enzymes or restriction endonucleases. Here it is beneficial for Escherichia coli, definitely, as it is restricting the replication of bacteriophages. So further, there are different types of restriction endonucleases we can use in the recombinant DNA technology. Before moving to the types and features of the different restriction endonucleases, first we must have to know what is recognition sequence, like from where the DNA fragment will going to cut. So recognition sequence is the site where the DNA is cut by a restriction endonuclease. Now, this restriction endonucleases can specifically recognize DNA with a particular sequence of 4 to 8 nucleotides and cleave. Now, what is the cleavage pattern? The cut of DNA fragment by restriction endonucleases may have a mostly sticky ends or blunt ends. So, the sticky ends which which will help for further joining of the fragment, and again they are the blunt ends. So now DNA fragments with the sticky ends are particularly useful for the recombinant DNA experiments, since single-stranded sticky DNA ends can easily pair with any other DNA fragment having complementary base pair. So these are the 4 different types of restriction endonucleases with their features. So the type 1, here a single enzyme which with 3 subunits for recognition, cleavage and methylation. It can cleave up 1000 base pairs from recognition site. They don't generate specific fragments. They require the presence of magnesium ions, ATP and S-adenosyl methionine, and the latter activates the enzyme. They used to track along the DNA for a variable distance before breaking. So the example of this type 1 is Escherichia coli K12. Now here E. coli is the name of organism and K12 stands for the strain. Now what is type 2 restriction endonuclease? Two different enzymes either to cleave or modify the recognition sequence. Cleavage site is same or close to the recognition site. So it can cut within or immediately adjacent to the target sequence. Again, it generates a specific fragment. In this case, magnesium ions are essential, whereas there is no requirement of ATP and adenosyl methionine. In comparison with the type 1, here it generates the specific fragments, and that is the reason this type 2 is useful in gene cloning. The third one, that is type 3, is a single enzyme either to cleave or modify the recognition sequence. Here the cleavage site is same or close to the recognition site. In this case, it requires ATP and S-adenosyl methionine for cleavage and make breaks in DNA 25 base pairs away from recognition site. So in comparison with the first two types, we can say type 3 is having a quite nearer recognition site. The cleavage site is near to the recognition site. The fourth one is called as 2S, where the two different enzyme cleavage site is up to 20 base pairs from the recognition site. So the site from which we will start the cutting the DNA fragment, that is the recognition site, and from the site around 20 base pairs that the particular fragments will going to cut with the help of this restriction endonucleases. So even you can see the example of type 2, that is E. coli RI, as I have discussed earlier with the diagrammatic presentation, where we have seen that the DNA A and DNA B. The example for type 3 is ECO PI, that is E. coli PI. So here you can see the action of restriction enzyme of E. coli RI specifically. Again, you can see the two DNA strands are there. The two DNA strands from the two different organisms. That the one is host and the another one is the one which will going to accept it. So at the first point where the recognition site is there, so E. coli RI is cutting the fragment in first DNA molecule, and again in another side you can see the dark DNA strand of another, and again the DNA fragment joins at a sticky ends with the help of DNA ligase, and it is producing a recombinant DNA. So this is the action of restriction enzyme. Now we'll see what is the role of DNA ligase. So this were originally isolated from virus, also occurs in Escherichia coli and eukaryotic cell. The cut DNA fragments are covalently joined together by DNA ligase. This DNA ligase joins the DNA fragments by forming a phosphate diester bond between phosphate group of fifth carbon of 1-deoxyribose of one DNA molecule with the hydroxy group of 3 carbon of another deoxyribose. So we have seen earlier, the one is the host and the another organism is the one which will the DNA which will going to join. So that's why the DNA ligase is joining to deoxyribose. The next one is alkaline phosphatase. It involves in removal of phosphate group. It is useful to prevent the unwanted ligation of DNA. When the linear vector plasmid DNA is treated with enzyme, the fifth terminal phosphate is removed and it prevents both recirculation and plasmid DNA dimer formation. So it will not going to affect the further process. So this is the role of alkaline phosphatase. The next is DNA modifying enzyme. This enzymes represents the cutting and joining function in DNA molecule manipulation. This broadly categorized as nucleases, polymerases and enzyme modifying ends of DNA molecule. Now what is the nucleases? These enzymes that break the phosphodiester bond that hold nucleotides together of DNA. Now these are again two types of nuclease. The one is endonuclease and the second one is exonuclease. Endonuclease act on the internal phosphodiester bonds, while exonucleases degrade DNA from the terminal end. There are different examples of endonucleases and exonucleases. You also refer a book by biotechnology by Satya Narayan. So where you will get all the examples. Further, this RNA specific nucleases. Besides the DNA cutting enzyme, there are RNA specific nucleases which are referred to as a ribonucleases and also called as RNases. The next is DNA modifying enzyme, that is polymerase. Now what is the role of polymerase? The group of enzymes that catalyzes the synthesis of nucleic acid molecule and are collectively referred as polymerases. So there are different or majorly three important types of polymerases. The one is DNA dependent DNA polymerase that copies DNA from DNA. The second is RNA dependent DNA polymerase. It is nothing but the reverse transcriptase, right? That synthesizes DNA from RNA. The third one is DNA dependent RNA polymerase that produce RNA from DNA. So this is what all about the polymerases. The next is enzymes modifying the ends of DNA. There are certain enzymes that act on a terminal ends of DNA and modify this molecule. So the important one is the alkaline phosphatase that removes the terminal phosphate group. The second is polynucleotide kinase involved in addition of phosphate group. Then the third one is terminal transferase. It is also called as terminal deoxynucleotidyl transferase. It repeatedly adds nucleotide to any available third terminal end, the most suitably being protruding third end. This enzyme is particularly useful to add homopolymer tail prior to the construction of recombinant DNA molecule. So these are all the enzymes which played a major role in the recombinant DNA technology. So these are the all molecular tools which are important in the genetic engineering. So this is what all about today's session. Next session will be based on host cells, the factories of cloning, vectors, the cloning vehicle. And this is the reference. Thank you so much.